Hey guys, Sean C. Phillips here with my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Taking to go out, see what things go out today, see what things are on sale. I know the big release today, was Baby Driver, and I know there's like a steelbook of that. I'm not sure if there's any other retail exclusives of that one as well today, but definitely going to go and check, and I'm going to have a review of that one at the end of this video as well as some other DVDs and Blu-rays I received to review and talk about for you guys. So check out, those at the end of this video. One of the other things I want to let you guys know too is I filmed a brand new parody video, a parody for the movie Happy Death Day, and that's going to be going up. I'm going to be seeing that movie, late Thursday night, so it's going to be going up, really early Friday morning, so like Friday at like 1 or 2 a.m. I'm not sure if that's a movie though that a lot of people are interested in seeing or not, but even if you're not interested in the movie, just check out the parody because I feel like it turned out really funny. I got my, everyone in it, my mom, dad, and brother all in it as well, doing stuff in it, and I feel like it's turned out pretty ridiculous. And if the movie's all about, like a Groundhog Day situation, so I'm in like a real Groundhog Day kind of problem and stuff. It's kind of weird and really ridiculous. It also involves like one specific movie too, like a really weird rare DVD. So definitely be sure to check out that. Like I said, that's going to be going up early Friday morning. I can't wait to hear what you guys all think of that one. So definitely leave comments under that video because I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about that. And also I'm going to have my new DVD Blu-ray update video going up this Saturday as well, Saturday morning. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Walmart we go. And in here today, like I said, the main big thing that came out today was, Baby Driver, which I really liked. I'm going to be talking about this one, though, at the end of this video. And the 4K edition of that one here is $27.96. It doesn't look like, though, there's any, exclusive editions of this one in here. Other than that, though, The House came out, which I'm going to be talking about as well at the end of this video. So I thought it was actually kind of a fun movie. Call of Chucky, is still $14.96 here. This released as well today. Wish Upon is another one which I'll be talking about at the end of this video. And this one, I don't know, this is a remake, the Beguiled movie. I don't know, it's one of those movies that I kind of thought I was going to really like, and for some reason it didn't do it for me too much. I don't know, I did not love this movie very much at all. Like, it was kind of slow and not, I don't know, I like everybody in this movie, but I don't know what it was about this one. I just really didn't care for this one too much. Let me know, guys, if you've seen that one, what you thought of that. And I believe this released today as well, this movie Maldi, I think that's how you say it. I believe, like I said, this was today. I don't know much at all about this one. If you guys have seen this one, though, let me know how this one is. And then they don't seem to have over here put out, like Open Water 3 released, and then as well as Armed Response, but they're not put out, yet on the shelf. And all these ones, came out in here last week, but I believe I didn't see on the shelf, though, last week, this one, this Majari Prime. I don't know anything about this one. It's another one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one is. And this is the other one, though, that came out last week that I didn't see out on the shelf. This one called Armstrong. Some kind of like a superhero type movie. Other than that, though, that seems to be all the major things in here today. I don't think there was any... I don't know if there's any TV series that released today. I'm not sure if Taken was this week or not. I think this might have been last week. I'm not 100% certain, though. Oh, yeah, and then this one released today as well. Ip Man Season 1. I know this was one of the other ones that came out this week as well. But other than that, that seems to be all the major things in here today. And in case you're noticing, yes, I, went to Walmart first today because I went to Target, and then Target, hadn't put anything out yet at all. Like, there was nothing whatsoever out on the shelf. They didn't change up the section at all. So I ended up shaking it up and, going to Walmart first. So we're going to head to Target later, to a different location, and hopefully they have, some of the stuff put out because there was absolutely, it was everything from last week, and they had the things there to stock it and everything, but it wasn't new stuff there to be stocked. It was all these old titles, so I don't know what was going on because there was not one thing changed in there. Into the Shopportunity thrift store we go. So we're taking a look and see if there's anything in here different today. But there's these weird ones in here that are like Disney nature, like they like scan the covers of the DVD, like the DVD disc itself, and put them on there. There's a whole bunch of them in here like this, like In a Dark Place, Back in the Rain, Abandoned, Jarhead. It's really weird. I've never seen anyone do this kind of thing. The discs I think are up front, but that's a very weird thing. Spin Doctors. This was a CD disc. This one they just scanned the CD, for that. This is really strange. I've never seen anyone do that kind of thing with anything. But well, like I said, we'll look through here though and see if there's anything in here different. I haven't been in this thrift store in probably like, I don't know, maybe like 6 months or something. It's been a long time since I've been in here. Never really found anything that different in here, but you never know. This one, I always remember really loving this one when this was first on, this Wild Boys. There's not really any shows like this on anymore, these kind of like crazy type things anymore. Like, you know, during the time of Jackass, there were so many of those type of things, but not in a long time has there been anything like that. And they have some more stuff over here in the front. It seems to be mainly like TV shows and games and stuff in here. Like some weird collection there of like TV series, like a starter set, like a sampler set. I think I remember when that came out, of like Soap and Married with Children, All in the Family, Barney Miller. I think that was like right around the time they were just starting to put those ones out onto DVD. But it seems to be mainly like TV series and stuff like that in here for the most part, from what I can tell. A lot, like I said, a lot of common stuff in here. That's kind of a weird set there. I don't think I've ever seen that Little Rascals collection like that. I've seen other collections, but I don't remember ever seeing that specific one there. But like I said, seems to be pretty much relatively common things in here, but you never know. You always just gotta check and see what they've got in here. And they have these things in here like that are like loose discs for $1 and stuff. We're back. I found like some really random things before on these loose discs. The only thing is you don't have the covers, but sometimes I found like really weird out of print stuff in here. I think I found like Clown House once at the one place when it was loose like this, so you never know what could be in here in these loose ones, so you always gotta check, because even if it's only the disc, it's still better than nothing with some of these things that are really hard to get. Into the Family Dollar we go. In here, they're kind of like in that other place. They have all these loose discs and stuff. There have been some kind of interesting things in here in the past. They're all like $2 for these things. I think a lot of these ones were like Redbox discs. You can kind of see the thing on there. So it's like stuff that was sold, you know, or rented in Redbox, and I think, you know, they put them in here. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like the Redbox, you know, symbol thing on them. But they all seem to be usually like $2 and $3 in here. That seems like a majority of what these ones are. And then probably from some other video rental things. But there's been some random kind of interesting ones I've seen in here in the past. It's like not, it's kind of weird. It's not like super common stuff. It's like kind of different, obscure stuff kind of mixed in here. Like, you know, Victor and the Secret of the Crocodile Mansion. Like what is that? I think, you see, you definitely do see some peculiar ones in here. And there's this set over here too, which is kind of a funny set here with Mac and Me. This is one, I can't believe Mac and Me has yet to get a Blu-ray release. I feel like at some point, like Shout Factor or somebody will release that one. And I know that wasn't like an amazing movie, but for some reason as a kid, I always loved watching it. But it always creeped me out for some reason. I don't know why. Something about the way Mac and Me, like those aliens looked, always really creeped me out. And they had like a strange look to them. And you know, there was also too like such a weird promotion for McDonald's. Like every time I think of that movie, the first thing I think of is McDonald's. Yeah, this thing has a thing on here, Rogers Video. You can see a thing on there. So I guess this is just from some random video store somewhere. You know, this one, another one, I love this one, Village. Hopefully this one gets a, you know, a Blu-ray release as well down the line. But nothing really that jumping out here, but definitely is interesting to look at this stuff though, because you definitely do see some odd ones in here. Into Target we go. And I'm definitely keeping my fingers crossed that this location has put the stuff out, because like I said, the last one I was at like an hour ago didn't put out anything whatsoever, so let's hope this one's got some stuff out. Fingers are crossed. Let's see. Oh, it looks like they put it out. Yeah, they did. They put all the stuff out in here. Like I said, you know, Baby Driver came out. Their copy of the 4K is $29.99. It doesn't look, though, like they have any exclusive ones. But they do have in here Open Water 3, which I really like this one a lot. I thought this was actually kind of a cool movie. When I looked into it, though, I think this movie was originally made as just a film called Cage Dive, I believe. And then it ended up becoming an open water movie. But it definitely fits in the open water, you know, series of movies. And their copy of Wish Upon is $17.99 in here, and I actually kind of like this one a lot. Like I said, I'm going to have a review of Wish Upon and The House at the end of this video. And right now in Target seems to have a thing going on right now where it's like all movies, you know, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, everything through Saturday the 14th is 20% off here. So I don't know if it's like, I don't know if you have to use this Target app thing for that or not. I think that might be how it works, but if you have that app, it looks like all the things in here, like I said, are down 20% off, which is actually a pretty good price. I don't know if that app you have to pay to sign up for that or not, but definitely is a pretty cool thing, you know, going on right now, because yeah, it looks like all the ones in here. Into Best Buy we go. We'll look over here though and see if they have the, you know, steelbook in here still of Baby Driver. It doesn't seem to be in the front area in here. Maybe they put this one around the back in here, but I believe like that was the only, you know, retail exclusive one of that came out today. Oh yeah, they have one of these left here. I see it's $29.99. It's the 4K edition. So I guess I don't know if there's a regular Blu-ray, you know, steelbook of this one as well, but they do have, you know, one left for this one. It's a pretty cool looking steelbook for this one here, you know, for $29.99, and then their standard 4K is $27.99. Other than that in here today, it doesn't look like anything else in the front two new in here today. Yeah, over here though in the section though, I don't see any, you know, more steelbooks. So it looked like they only had one of those steelbooks in here left. So that was cool that they still had one. I don't know if this is new or not. The complete 9th season of SpongeBob. You know, this has been coming out for so long. I think this show kind of took a break for a little while, I believe, and then kind of started up again. I haven't watched any of the recent series of this in a really long time. This is one of the ones that came out today, this movie called The Temple. This one kind of looked interesting. I think it was like people going to this temple in like Japan, and then like weird stuff starts to happen to them and stuff. It looked like a kind of an interesting one here. That one's only $9.99, and their Open Water 3 here is $15.99 for the you know, the Blu-ray of that. Other than that over here, I don't see anything else too different in here. It seems like a lot of the same stuff. I think one of the only ones that I believe was today, I'm going to be talking about this at the end, was Dreamgirls. And this is one of those ones that I thought there was supposed to be a Target exclusive one, and I didn't see it at Target today, that had like a bonus disc that was like an hour or two more of extra features or something, but it didn't look like Target had that one. So that might be one you have to get online, or they just hadn't put that one out yet. But other than that though, this could have been today, but other than that, I think that's all the major things that released today. Anyway though guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say guys, enjoy these videos. Definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, like I said, be sure to check out, you know, for early Friday morning, my parody review of Happy Death Day. Like I said, even if you're not interested in the movie review, just check it out for the parody part, because I really can't wait to hear what you guys all think of that. So like I said, leave comments and stuff under that video, because I feel like it turned out pretty funny, and it's kind of ridiculous the stuff that happens in it. And also, you know, my update video, DVD Blu-ray update, will be up, you know, this Saturday morning. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. Some cool stuff in that one. Now stay tuned now for a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got from Lionsgate is a movie called Lady Macbeth. This is actually a pretty interesting one. It's about this girl who ends up kind of forced into this marriage to this much older man, and the guy is like really, really strange, the way he's treating her, and all these awkward things going on with her. And he ends up having to leave the house for a period of time, and there's this guy who's like working for him, like he works like in the cabins and like with the animals and stuff like that, and she ends up, you know, kind of taking a liking to him, and it's kind of like why he's gone. They have this like secret relationship going on, because like the relationship that she has with the husband, you know, that she was forced to marry, you know, there's no passion, there's no anything, because she's like forced to be with him, but you know, but then she has all this passion with this guy who works there, and it's kind of this whole thing about her trying to keep the whole thing secret and making sure that, you know, and no one, you know, else that works there can kind of find out about that, you know, that she's sleeping with this guy, and like what would happen if the husband found out about it. So it's kind of like this whole secret thing about like their relationship, and kind of like what's she gonna do and how she gonna kind of keep this whole thing, you know, under wraps and stuff like that. That's essentially what this is. Just about like all set. I think it was 1865 this was set, and this kind of stuff happened where like, you know, people were like forced into these kind of marriages and stuff because like they really had no other way to like have any money or anything, and she's like just forced in this horrific relationship with this guy, and it's basically just her with, you know, the guy that works there, and she's like really has all this passion stuff with him. It has on here though a behind the scenes and a photo gallery on this one. The next one here, and I didn't know this show had been on for this many seasons. This is the complete 10th season of the show that's on the History Channel called Ancient Aliens. And this is basically, you know, there's always that meme too of that one guy where you see him and it says like aliens, and like that guy, it's basically he's like the star of the show. it's all dealing with, theories about, like, they go to like this abandoned kind of like bunker place underground where they believe that, like, that there was alien like artifacts, and they go to like certain areas where there was believed to be like alien type of encounters, talk to people who have alien type encounters, and that's essentially what it is going all around the different kind of areas around the country, and other, countries and all that kind of stuff in America and all kind of other areas, talking about the history about, how there was, believed to be alien kind of artifacts in the past, and kind of like looking at them and kind of like theorizing about them and stuff like that. And like I said, this is the complete, the volume 1 of season 10 of the show, so it has on here 8 episodes on 2 discs here. But this is actually kind of an interesting show. Like I said, I didn't know it had been going on for for 10 seasons here. The next one here, Warner Brothers sent over a free copy of this one to check out, and this one, I saw this one in theaters as well. I always really love Will Ferrell films. Amy Poehler I always really like as well, and this is a movie that they were in called The House, and there was basically their daughter, I believe it was their daughter, was going to be going to college, but they don't know what they're going to do. So it's like they don't have enough money for it. They have no idea how they're going to pay for it. And their one friend starts like coming up with this idea that, oh, you guys should start this underground gambling casino business. And they scheme up this whole thing about like having the casino in their house, and then having people park at the deli next door, the deli market next door, and go in there and buy an item, and then sneak, then go through the back of the building, around the side, and go through the fence to their house, and they start building up this casino, and it starts kind of getting successful, but then they have all kinds of problems with this. People that are like, the commission, the city and stuff are kind of realizing something weird is going on here, and it's like all these kind of problems, and then like they have all the problems that casinos have as well, like people trying to cheat them and stealing money, and like counting cards and all this kind of stuff, and Will Ferrell has to kind of become the bad guy here, and like I don't know, I just thought it was actually kind of a funny movie. Like I said, I always really like Will Ferrell, and it's just kind of like a crazy movie about him and his wife trying to do anything they can to raise this money, to have enough money to send their daughter to college and to pay for it. And has on here though some featurettes on here. It has extended and alternate scenes and a gag reel, as well as linorama, which is where they would do like a lot of alternate different takes of some of the lines here. The next one here from Warner Bros. As well, they sent over a free copy of this one as well. I was so glad to get to watch this one again, and this is the 4K edition. This one has on here though the final cut of the movie, so that's the only cut that this one has on here, but I actually think that's the best cut. The original cut though had the narration throughout the film with Harrison Ford's character. This is, like I said, Blade Runner, the 4K edition, but it had, like the narration. The final cut, though, I have the old Blu-ray, so I have that one that has, like, the theatrical cut, the director's cut, and then the final one. But like I said, this one just has the final, but I like the final cut. Like, they updated some of the effects and stuff in this one, and they fixed a couple things. If you guys don't know this film, though, I think it's probably one of the top sci-fi movies of all time. And, like, I don't know, the music in this, like, when it comes to, like, synth music, this is one of those movies that really started, like, the whole style of some of this kind of synth music. The music in this is amazing. Music in the new movie was amazing as well. This is basically, though, set in the future, but actually, the future now is past when this was actually set. But Harrison Ford's character is a Blade Runner who goes and hunts these robots, because, like, robots would be considered illegal on Earth, and he's trying to hunt them down and find the bad robots and stuff. So it's kind of him going around trying to hunt them and put them out of commission. That's essentially what it is. But it's just such a it's not like a real action packed, like lots of action all the time. It's more like almost like a soap opera kind of like drama love story as well to the whole thing, with the music and everything. There's also lots of interesting symbolism in this movie as well. A lot of stuff you really have to think about. But for 4K though, this is definitely one huge improvement for this edition, because like the movie too, it's one of those movies that has lots of neon kind of colors and a lot of like real kind of dark scenes and stuff like that. This one though, with the HDR, really brings out the colors of this one, and also enhances a lot of the visuals and stuff. But all of it looks great though. Definitely though, if you guys have 4K, this one is definitely worth upgrading to for sure. The next one here from Sony, this is one of those movies, I really love this movie. This is Edgar Wright's new film, Baby Driver. I saw this one in theaters as well. This stars Ansel Elgort and, Kevin Spacey, Lily James in this movie, Jamie Foxx. And it's basically, though, about, Ansel Elgort's character, who is, kind of been, ever since he was a kid, has been working for Kevin Spacey, and he's kind of like, amazing, like with driving and like being kind of like his getaway driver, and he like for all the kind of crimes that Kevin Spacey's character is like committing, and he kind of is always hiring crews of people to work for him to go and rob banks and like kind of pull off all these robberies, and he's kind of like forced to work for him, and he's always kind of paying him, but he's really not paying him much money, and he's always like, oh, don't worry, I'll keep the money for you, I'll keep it, but whenever you need it, you need a little money, I'll give it to you, kind of wondering, is he ever going to give him this money? What's he really doing here? And it's kind of his, character doesn't really want to keep doing this, and he's kind of like forced into this one, and he meets Lily James at this diner, and they kind of start this relationship. But essentially, though, it's about him trying to figure out how he's going to kind of get out of this whole business, and how he's going to like finally going to get his money and stuff from Kevin Spacey's character. I really love this. The thing that was cool about this movie too was like all the scenes, the way they kind of put this together with him when he's doing the getaway driving. He themes everything to music he's listening to on his iPod, because his character has like that tinnitus thing when you hear that humming in your ear, so he's always listening to music to kind of drown it out. So all the scenes of him like driving away is all themed to the music, so it really fits amazingly. Just a really, really cool movie here. It has on here though deleted and extended scenes on here, a bunch of other featurettes on here about the effects, and things on here about the music as well, because like I said, this one has some really great music on this one. And I like too the Blu-ray disc looks like a record too. They gave it like a look like a record. I don't know if the 4K edition is going to look like that as well, but I always like when they kind of theme the discs and stuff like that. The next one here from Sony as well, and this, I have not seen any other movies in this series, and I think there's been at least 3 or 4 of them, or maybe 3 of them. I don't know for certain how many other ones there have been, but this one is called Sniper Ultimate Kill, and this is Billy Zane is in this movie. It's basically though about this sniper guy who's kind of like, sent on these missions, and Billy Zane's character sends him on missions, and it's like he has to go to Colombia because there's this like drug lord, who is kind of like sending snipers after all of his competition. You don't know who the sniper is that he's hired, but he's going and kind of taking out the other drug lords, and like all the kind of competition around him he's kind of taking out, and like it's the government kind of wants to bring this guy in who's like, the head drug lord who's hiring this sniper to go out and kill all the people. So it's kind of like this one sniper, who, that Billy Zane hires, and he's the guy from some of the other films. It's kind of him going and trying to track down the sniper that he's hired, the drug lord is hired, and he has to kind of try and take him out so he can kind of bring in this big drug lord so they can kind of like arrest him and stuff like that. So that's essentially what it is. It's kind of like a whole crazy thing about trying to take out this guy, and like all the kind of problems and situations they get into trying to bring this guy down here. But kind of a fun movie. Like I said, I had not seen any of the other ones in this series, so I don't feel like though it's one though if you hadn't seen the other films you wouldn't be able to pick up on what was happening with this one. The next one here I got from Sony as well is the complete 5th season here of House of Cards. This is a show that's like a Netflix series. I've only seen a couple episodes of this one, on Netflix here and there, and like some clips and stuff. But this is one of those shows though I have always, heard like really, really good things about this one. And it's essentially though was Kevin Spacey's character is kind of like getting up in like the trying to get like further up in the position of like in the government position, but like now though in the show he's actually like the president, and it's kind of like he's like really ruthless, his character, and he'll kind of like do anything it takes to win, and he's kind of like always scheming. He's like really not a great person at all. He's like always up to no good and doing some bad stuff. It's a really cool release here though. I like the look of this. The discs are kind of like behind here in the back like this. I don't know, it's a cool like layout and look to this release. Like I don't know how the other seasons have been released in the past, like if they have a similar kind of look. It has a digital copy as well with this one, but let's want to let you know though this one is available now on Blu-ray and DVD here. The next one here from Sony as well, and this is one, I believe this one had been released in the past, but I think it has a couple new things that I don't remember, and I have not seen this movie in years. This is one of those things I remember watching as a kid. This is Jim Henson's Emmet Otters Jug-Band Christmas. This was like the movie that he made. From what I was reading, Jim Henson made this to kind of as almost like to prove that he would be able to do the Muppets movie, to do the Muppets as a feature. And it's basically though about this, otter who like, and the otters who are trying to like get this money to buy a gift. And it's like he enters this contest to try and, win like money. It's a real small amount of money that he tries to win, but it's kind of like him forming this band to try and like win the contest. I don't know. It's one of those things like, it's one of those Christmas specials. I remember like I had like a tape of this as a really little kid. And I always remember watching this, and it's just a fun, you hear like a lot of the Muppet voices, you know, from like the Muppets and Sesame Street, like some of the, like those known voices you always remember hearing. And it's just a really fun, like really early Muppets thing, you know, Muppet style. And, you know, Kermit the Frog is in here kind of presenting the movie. But it has on here, though, some behind the scenes, alternate scenes, outtakes. So I really like the outtakes because they kept on like screwing up certain things in here. And I don't know, those always like, to me, this kind of stuff, some of the most fun stuff to see. The next one here from Broad Green Pictures. This is a movie that stars Joey King, and I saw this one in theaters as well. This one has on here, though, the director's cut of this one, as well as the theatrical cut. It's a movie called Wish Upon, and to be honest, I really thought this was a cool movie. Like, I saw this, like I said, in theaters as well, and really liked this. It's about Joey King's character's father, who kind of goes around with his friend and like digging in, you know, trash cans and going to like abandoned houses or houses where they're moving and going in their trash cans and, you know, like looking in dumpsters and stuff. And he's always trying to like bringing home things that he thinks he can kind of sell or repurpose and do things with. And the one day, though, he ends up finding this weird type, like, music box type thing, this weird thing, and he brings it home and he gives it to Joey King's character, you know, his daughter. And, you know, of course, though, there's something weird about this thing, and it's like a magic wish box thing, where, like, she's, like, if she wishes on the thing, like, it opens up and starts to move, but for every wish that she gets, because, you know, she wishes for all these different things, but as she wishes for them, somebody ends up dying. So it's like, there's some really crazy, like, creative, like, over-the-top crazy deaths and stuff that happen to people in this. I don't know, it's kind of has like a feel of like Final Destination a little bit, with like all this stuff going wrong and stuff, because it's like, you know, every time there's a wish, somebody else is going to end up dying because of this wish. I don't know, I really thought this was actually kind of a cool movie. Sherilyn Fenn is in this, also in this movie as well, but I think this one is definitely worth checking out. The director of Annabelle did this one. But like I said, I thought this was actually kind of a little creepy, and I like these kind of, I always like movies like, you know, like Wishmaster and stuff, like anything that like deals with wishes and stuff like that, when the wishes go drastically, terribly wrong. The next one here, well, you guys know this one is available from Paramount, and this is, you know, the brand new director's extended edition of Dreamgirls. And this movie, you know, was up for a whole lot of different Academy Awards and stuff. I think this was from 2006. I remember too, I think it was, who was up for the Academy Award in here? I think it was Jennifer Hudson was up, and I think she actually won, as far as I remember. And I know Beyonce Knowles in this film, Jamie Foxx is in this movie, Eddie Murphy's in here, and kind of a different role for him at the time. Like, it was before he had done like stuff like Mr. Church and stuff, so it was like a little bit more of like a drama kind of crazy type of character. I don't know, it was just like a little different for him. It's basically about this female group who was trying to, you know, singer group, and this was set, and I think it was in the 60s. I can't remember for sure when it was exactly set, but they were trying to kind of, you know, build a popularity, and they end up working as background singers for Eddie Murphy's character, and they kind of get brought in by Jamie Foxx, because Jamie Foxx has like this dream of like doing something really big, and he kind of, you know, starts to represent them, and then gets them to work for Eddie Murphy's character. And Eddie Murphy's character is kind of a sleazy guy a little bit too, the way he treats women and stuff, and a lot of people who work for him kind of quit after a little while. So it's kind of them all working for him, and all the kind of problems of them trying to rise to fame and stuff. But like I said, this has on there the extended edition of the movie. I think it was, I don't know for certain how many minutes longer it was, but I know it's like a brand new edition. I don't think it had ever been released before, but it also has in here, though, a photo book. So with pictures and stuff like that, you know, some of the songs and stuff from the movie. So that's a pretty cool thing here, as well as it has Jennifer Hudson's never-before-seen audition and screen test footage on this one. The next one here, this is from a company called I think it's like Vega Baby. It's like, I believe it's a pretty new company. And this movie here, I have to be honest, I really, really like this movie a lot. And it was one of those ones I didn't know going into it much about this movie. It's a movie called The Devil's Whisper. And this was actually, I really, really dug this movie. Like, I actually thought this was actually very, very creepy, and like, and like a little bit like terrifying a little bit. Like, it was kind of on the level, to be 100% honest, of like something like Conjuring and stuff. It was a lower budget film, but it was on the level of that kind of scares, especially the kind of creature in this movie. I do think they kind of showed it a little longer than they should have at some points. They should have just kind of kept it a little bit more in the shadows, like in the closet and stuff when they were showing it. But the creature was extremely creepy, and it's about this kid who's a very religious kid who like thinks that when he's older he might end up actually going into to be a priest. And his grandmother died, and he's like, they're moving some of her furniture into their house, and they're moving in this old dresser, and in the dresser he ends up finding this box, and him and the dad crack open the box and like break it open, and inside is this cross. And as soon as he gets this cross and starts wearing it, he puts it on a chain and starts wearing it, weird things are starting to happen. He starts hearing like weird voices, and like voices of someone kind of like talking to him. At night he sees this weird kind of like figure thing outside by the like the street light in his house, and everything kind of starts going very wrong for him after, you know, he opens up this thing, and it's kind of this really creepy thing. I don't know, I just thought the whole concept of this really worked to me. It kind of made me think of that movie The Possession a little bit as well, but I don't know, I just love this. I also liked his character, the friend characters in this. Like, his friends were kind of giving him all kinds of crap about everything, and I don't know, about the idea of wanting to become a priest and stuff, and I don't know, I really like this one a lot. Definitely one I would say, you guys, if you guys like movies like The Conjuring and stuff, it was definitely one to check out. The next one here from the same company as well is a movie called Shortwave. I want to say too, it was kind of cool. They had some really interesting music in this. They had like Chromatics, you know, from who's like had songs in Drive, and they had like the best song in my opinion in you know, the latest season of Twin Peaks, like that amazing song in there. But this one, a movie called Shortwave. This is basically though about this couple whose kid ends up going totally missing, and they don't know what had happened to her. She kind of vanished from this kind of weird, like, sort of like bookstore, and they don't know what had happened to her. And then her and like her husband and like their friends are all doing these kind of experiments. They're kind of like living in the same house together, doing these experiments with like shortwave radios and like frequencies and all this kind of stuff. And they start kind of, you know, getting these kind of weird frequencies and stuff, and the wife is starting to hear weird things and starting to have like weird visions and dreams of seeing the daughter and like who took the daughter and where she is, and she's like trying to contact her, and it's kind of like this whole real creepy thing. And it kind of also deals kind of with the idea of like kind of going crazy about like, it kind of reminded me of that movie Ex Machina a little bit, like the idea, because it was also like set in this kind of house, and like all these people doing these experiments and like messing around with the radios. It's one of those things where, you know, like messing around with things, it never goes well, and that's kind of like what this one was. But between these two though, this one though, I love this one though. The next one here from Eone, through their line, the Momentum Pictures line, is the newest Goon film. You know, Sean William Scott was in these, the first film. The first film I think was in 2011. This is the follow-up film. I don't think this is one though you have to have seen the first movie to get it. Like, I hadn't seen the first film in a really, really long time. I remember really liking this. I always have been a fan of Sean William Scott, and his character in this is like this crazy you know, hockey player who is kind of like super violent, and like he's kind of like full of rage and stuff, and if anyone like looks at him sideways, he beats him up and stuff like that. But this one now, his character is, you know, put to be like the coach of the team, but he ends up getting like riled up by somebody and gets beat up by him terribly, terribly bad, and ends up having to quit, and he's all screwed up, and he basically has to retire because of this. Even though he was just about to become the coach of this team, he has to retire, and it's kind of about him trying to figure out what he's going to do when he can't play hockey anymore. You know, he's getting ready to get married to his wife, played by Alison Pill, who, you know, who is absolutely amazing, you know, in the newest season of Horror Stories. But you know, he's basically trying to figure out what he's going to do. But then like he finds out like the one rival that he doesn't like is going to come on and start coaching the team, and like the guy that beat him up, and then he kind of is like, well, I got to kind of have a comeback, and I got to come back and fight this guy, and he has to get trained again. It's all this kind of to-do about him trying to, you know, get back into the whole thing again after what had happened to him. But like it kind of a funny movie. The director of this one too was the, you know, Jay Baruchel, you know, who is from like a lot of the Judd Apatow films, and he actually has a part in this movie as well. And the next one here from Eone as well is a movie called Atomica. This is basically about this woman who's like a safety inspector who ends up getting this call that she has to go to a out in the middle of the desert to work on one of the nuclear plants, try and get it back up and running again, because like something's the matter with it. But you know, she gets out there though, and it's like a really weird, like abandoned type of place. I have to say though, the setting that they filmed this in some sort of a weird sort of tunnel system. I don't know what it was, if part of it was built or some of it was something that was there, but it was this amazing like long tunnel thing that she's like, they're going through. Like the setting was amazing for this, but she goes there to try and like fix the thing. there's this one guy there, and she's like kind of noticing there's something sort of strange about this whole place and kind of weird, like why is there no one else really there? You know, Tom Sizemore has a part in this film as well, but like it's just kind of like she doesn't really know exactly what's going on, and like the guy seems a kind of odd, so it's kind of her there trying to figure out how to fix this whole thing, and this guy's not really very helpful, but there's all kinds of weird things going on as well in this one. But it's actually kind of a cool movie. Like I said, the coolest thing to this too as well though was the setting. The next one here is a movie called Fall of Grace. This is basically a movie about this one couple. You know, they're kind of having all kinds of relationship problems. They're not really getting along, and their daughter. When they come home the one day, the daughter is like getting like something has happened. Some kind of like entity in the house is like taken the daughter and like pulled her into the closet, and she's like kind of gone, vanished. And they don't really know what had happened to her, but they know it's like something like demonic or something bad. And the husband is kind of like, obsessed with the idea that he has to try and figure out how he's going to get her back, because like everything in their life is really falling apart even worse after she's gone missing. So he starts messing around with all this kind of occult stuff, and he starts doing these kind of rituals to try and bring her back. But then it's kind of like something weird happens to him, like a presence kind of comes into him. Then he starts doing like really, really bad, dark stuff and stuff, like it's like something has happened to him. He tried to get her back, but then weird things are happening to him, and it's kind of him, and then the wife is like noticing like what's happened, and it's kind of this whole real creepy thing. It's kind of a cool, different take on the whole kind of possession, exorcism type movie. This one, I like this movie because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and like Ken Foree is in this movie, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be in the movie for a couple minutes or not. This is from Eone as well. I wasn't sure if he was going to be like a real small part, but he's actually in like probably 70% of this movie. It's a movie called The Midnight Man. It's a couple that goes out to this cabin in the woods, and they're kind of, both of them, they're married, and they've been having like kind of some problems. They aren't really getting along too well, and they're kind of fighting and stuff, and they kind of think this trip is going to kind of like help them repair things. And this movie's got a lot of twists in it, though. I want to say, like, I don't want to ruin the whole thing about what's happening, but essentially, though, the one night they play this game called, like, Midnight Man, about, like, if you blow out this candle and open up this door and stuff, like, open up the door, like this Midnight Man, this like creepy character will be outside the house, but like the whole time that they're there, though, you see somebody is kind of like lurking around, like spying on them and watching them. So you're like, oh, is it the Midnight Man, or is it like some weird person? But like I said, there's some big twist this one, and then like I said, how Ken Foree comes in this movie, and it's like something like, I don't want to say what he does because then it kind of will ruin the whole thing, but you just know that there's somebody's trying to kill them. Sort of, maybe, but then Ken Foree has a huge thing in this one, and he has his own plans. But I dug this movie because it wasn't, like I said, what I thought it was going to be. And the next one here from Random Media, and I'll put a link where you guys can get this one. This is a movie called House by the Lake, and this is from the director Adam Garris, who directed Autopsy, the Night of the Demons remake, a bunch of different movies. It's a movie about this family that ends up moving into this house with their daughter who has autism, and like as soon as and they have this nanny as well that's kind of helping watch the daughter. But the second they get to this house, though, the daughter sort of starts to regress and like having like some things in the past that were kind of like they kind of had taken care of happening to her again, and she starts kind of like seeing some kind of an imaginary person and kind of like getting like really freaked out and scared and kind of acting really odd about what I don't know what is actually going wrong and who it is that she's talking to. And there's some real creepy stuff with this like lake outside of the house, and you see like something weird going on in the lake, and you're wondering like, is this daughter like imagining this, or is there some kind of a haunted presence in this house? And it's all them trying to figure out exactly what's happening and why this is happening to them. The lake and stuff, like the stuff with the lake was kind of reminding me of that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark a little bit, because there was one when they went to like that cabin and like a creature was kind of coming out of the lake. But this is actually a pretty interesting kind of creepy one here. The next one here from Uncorked Films. This one's available right now on Redbox. James Cullen Bursack directed this one. I mean, not directed this one. He was one of the producers on this one. And then Christopher Douglas Ray, Fred Olen Ray's son, was the director of this one. It's a movie called Circus Kane. And I really like the cover on this one. It's a really cool, creepy cover. And I just finished watching this one like just now, literally like, 30 minutes ago, right before I did this video. And I like this movie. It kind of reminded me of that one movie called Slashers. There was like a Canadian horror movie from like years back. Kind of reminded me of that. And it's also kind of like people trapped in a place trying to make their way from room to room, so it kind of has that Cube vibe as well. But it's about a group of all these different kind of characters who are like are kind of known on social media and stuff, and they get this invite to come to this, like, go to this haunted attraction, and if they, you know, win the attraction, like find their way out of it or like survive it, they get $250,000. So all the kind of characters come together there to go here. It's put on by this like ringmaster guy named Kane, who's like kind of known for having these haunted attractions in the past, but like weird things that happen, and like he got like charged with the murder of somebody in the past. But of course, though, they all go into this, you know, building, and then they have to kind of make their way from room to room, and they find out very early on that they're actually going to get killed there if, you know, if they don't get through it. So they have like all these rooms they have to go through, like a barbed wire room, and like these things swinging in between the rooms, like these gondola type things. This was actually, like I said, I kind of like this one. There was just like a cool thing about like the different rooms that they go through and stuff here. Like I said, if you guys want to see this one is available in Redbox. You can also get it on Amazon as well, but it has on here outtakes and a commentary track on this. And this is another film that this one here, James Cohen was the director of this one. This was a release from Asylum, and this movie has a bunch of different, you know, voice actors in here. Ed Asner, Melissa Joan Hart, Haley Joel Osment, Jason Mewes does a voice in this one. It's a one called Go Car Go, and this is a movie about kind of this car whose father ends up getting in this accident, and he's going to get sent to the junk heap, and he has to try, and the son has to try and go into the area where he is and find, you know, get his father and rescue him before he becomes junk heap, like crushed and stuff like that. Kind of a fun animated kids movie here, but like I said, I like, you know, all the different voice actors in here that are doing voices in this one. The next one here from Wild Eye Releasing is a movie called Apocalypse Cult, and this was a cool kind of like, reminded me a little bit of The Sacrament, and this was about these they were doing like these documentarians were doing a documentary on like drug addicts and stuff like that, and they're filming, you know, allowed to film the meeting and the AA meeting and the stuff like that, and they meet this guy who says that he ended up escaping from this cult, where this is just really weird cult out in the middle of the woods, and he was lucky to escape from it, and the guys that are doing the documentary like get him to tell him where this cult was and where the meeting was and everything. So they end up going out there, and of course, you know, they go out there to try and film the whole thing, and it's a really weird situation. This really weird guy who's like the head of the whole thing, and like the stuff that everyone's wearing and stuff. So it's all them going out there to film this, and they have to get rid of their phones and stuff so they can't contact anybody. And of course, though, once they get out there, though, weird things start to happen to them, and they're like this really like bad stuff the guy is up to and all this stuff, and it's kind of them kind of trapped there and stuff. I kind of like this one. Like I said, it has the feel of the movie The Sacrament. This one that you guys know is available from SRS Cinema. This one's Frames of Fear. This is an anthology horror movie, and I actually am in this one, like a little cameo that I filmed in this one, playing this like weird VHS kind of guy who's like obsessed with VHS. And it's kind of funny, like I hadn't looked back on like what it was in a long time, and I play this like crazy character likes VHS, like have this show all about VHS and stuff. But if you guys like, you know, indie anthology horror movies, definitely check this one out here. But anyway though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching, subscribing, and I'll see you